Welcome back to another episode of Meredyth with a Y, and I am back with Chris Burress of My Vital C, and I have been taking this now for a while, so you're going to hear all about it. You're going to hear what I have to say, and let's do this. Hello, everyone. This is Meredyth with a Y, and I am your host, Meredyth Willett. Today, we are going to go deep, changing lives, and I am giving you the keys to the castle. I was having some technical difficulties. It's telling me we're not going live on Facebook, but that's okay. We can repost it later. Anyways, how have you been?
I've been absolutely wonderful. I've been super busy in good ways, and I'm trying to be the living, breathing embodiment. There was a study that said if you see stress as just stressful, then it actually can have a negative impact on you, and if you see it as a challenge to be overcome. So I've got some stresses here at the office, and I'm currently convincing myself that they're challenges. And I think a lot of people can probably identify with that. By the way, I'm so happy that we got to reconnect because I have this one running joke, and I really do love it. It's approximately 45 days after you started taking the product, and today you get to share with us what it's like to live twice as long.
Well, I think the funny part of it is I didn't need 45 days.
Oh,
Not even
wow.
close. Not even for a new year. And everyone that's watching or listening, I need you to know that I 100% am not being paid for anything. I'm not being paid by Chris to be on this program. I could have said, don't come back. We're good. Thanks for sharing.
We haven't noticed anything, but you have lots of other
Yeah.
things to share because I do have lots of experience, and that was certainly on the table. Well, I'm excited.
Yeah. So I just want everyone to know this is not a paid podcast in any way, shape, or form. So within, I would say I'm going to go so far as to say the first 3 days, I was sleeping better.
Wow.
3
And you were
days.
taking it in the morning, right?
So I take it in the morning. It's probably I have like 5 prunes in the morning as I'm making my coffee. It's kind of all in the same cabinet. It's just
Yeah.
and then I kind of make my way over to my other cabinet that has supplements and whatnot. And I also pulled back on all my other supplements. So I'm post surgery. So I was pulling back on everything because I wanted to be like super fresh. I wanted to make sure that what I was taking here, like I'm the idiot that reads all the books before I have someone on a podcast. Like I'm that person. So
hey, you and me both. I'm literally like speed reading a book right now because I've got an interview later this week. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I actually had a guy who's like, here, I'll send you the PDF. I'm like, I don't do PDFs. Thank you very much. Go to a different podcast. Like that's how nutso I am about having people on. And so I actually have everything with me here because again, I'm crazy. So I the first one I took was the olive oil mix one. Yep.
Yep.
And I like an olive oil flavor. I'm like the girl that can go to those olive oil shops and like taste them all and I'm like happy as a clam. And I love the flavor. It's nutty. It doesn't taste medicine-y or supplement. All you taste is like olive oil, like good olive oil. So I did that. So let's talk about sleeping. So I already don't drink alcohol, which is one of the main disruptors of your sleep, especially of a woman that's in menopause. So you're up at 1, if you drink alcohol, you're up at 1 sweating, you're up at 3 peeing, you're up at 5 just tossing and turning, if not more. You might fall asleep well, but you don't stay asleep. So I already should be a good sleeper because I don't drink booze. But I still was struggling with the tossing and turning to the point where sometimes my husband is like, I feel so bad for you. Like you literally don't sleep well. And I'm like, that's because you snore. But within the first 3 days, I was sleeping through the night. I was sleeping deeper, like dead body deep. That's the only way I know how to explain it. And then you kind of get like weirded out. Like, so I'm like, what is going on that I'm weirded out? I will tell you for the first, I'm going to say 2 weeks, it was strange. Now I'm normally a pretty, I don't know if the word's hyper, I don't know what high energy maybe?
Mm.
High energy entrepreneur. I think you can understand high
Yep.
energy entrepreneur, constantly thinking. I do a lot of social media that doesn't ever shut off. So I'm constantly a thinker. So in the beginning, it felt almost like I was tired during the day. But I really tried to go deep and recognize, like, you're not tired, you're just not psycho. It was
things
almost
things
like,
had been pared back a little, maybe. Yeah.
yeah, so it was kind of like you're probably like a normal person. I could see this being very beneficial with someone that suffers from, like, ADD, um, hyperactivity, racing thoughts, where you just swirl and swirl and swirl, that you can't stay focused, because it does have that kind of calming, focused effect wherein now I'm what, 6 weeks in, are we at, would you
Yeah.
say?
I think about, yeah.
We're about 6 weeks in, I'm on my 2nd bottle, I'm now taking the, coconut oil one.
Mm.
I wanna taste both. And all of that is kind of, like, leveled out. So the brain is no longer tired. The brain is now just not running. I'm not
Mm.
running in my head. I'm more like, "Okay, I'm a normal person now," Like, I can still work, but not obsess. I can still think, but not ruminate. So it's more like that type of a brain process. I would say in the past 6 weeks, oh, man, getting out of bed in the middle of the night, maybe twice in the middle of the night, and that could be, like, one of those where you drink 80 gallons of water because it's been hot,
Mm.
and then your
Yep.
body's like, it's either you sleep or you get up and go to the restroom. So, like,
Yeah.
that's just the body bodying. Um, I gave my daughter a taste, my 27-year-old, a taste of the coconut oil,
Mm.
and she goes, "Ooh, I don't like things that taste like nothing." And so I of course, I looked at her like, how is that even a thing? Who has a thing about it? But I was like, "Well, then you'd probably like the olive oil one, because it has, like, again, that nutty flavor versus, I will tell you, the coconut oil tastes like absolutely nothing. It is, to me, it's just benign. I thought I brought my little cup upstairs. Maybe I didn't. Did it come with that little cup, or did I just have that in my
Yeah.
cabinet?
No, it came with it. Yeah.
Okay, and it's 5 milliliters. I mean, it's literally 1
1 teaspoon.
teaspoon is what I'm taking, and I take it on an empty stomach. The prunes or no prunes, it doesn't matter. I've been on vacation and not have them with me, and it's fine. It doesn't upset your stomach, nothing like that. It's so easy to ingest. It's literally a 12th of a shot glass, and so, yeah, I started to panic until this morning, because I thought I have about, I don't even know, like a half, yeah, I would say about a half a bottle of the coconut one left, and I didn't realize I had I was panicking because I'm like, "Oh god, I have
Not
to get
easy
on the
to hide bottles and packages, like, it's a trick.
literally, literally. So I was panicking because I saw that you do have, like, an auto ship program that brings it down to, like, way, way inexpensive.
Yep.
Um, because when going into this, was probably under the guise that, like, this is gonna be super expensive, but with your auto ship, it makes it very, affordable, especially, like, my dad is a guy, he takes, like, 700 supplements, he's 78, he's super into bodybuilding, and so, like, he's nuts, so he's always at the supplement store. But if you can just, like, whittle it down, I would say that this is very affordable. It's probably the cost of 2 pizzas. Like, if you bump out your pizza night once a
Mm.
month, this could be a great, exchange for that cost. Everyone's watching their pennies this time of the life. So that would definitely work. What is one of the biggest maybe surprises that you've received as feedback, besides, I hate things that taste like nothing, um, when you're working with people or you're getting feedback from people?
Well, so it's a couple of things here. First off, if you go back and listen to the previous podcast. We'll touch some of the previous, some of the highlights. but I didn't invent this, right? Like I didn't go in the lab, and I'm not the guy who was like, I know how to extend lives, because this is associated with a study where the test subjects, in this case Wistar rats, lived 90% longer than the control group. So I didn't do that. I didn't even go back in the lab and like, I'm going to invent something that'll help people sleep or help their mind calm down and get focused. I'm not like, so for me, if we hopped on the show and you're like, you know, Chris, I haven't really noticed anything, I would always ask a couple of questions. Usually with a couple of questions, I can kind of tease out something. And often if the case is, oh, I haven't really noticed anything, I literally have a testimonial from 3 weeks ago. This lady was like, oh, I tried the product for 3 weeks and then I canceled the subscription because I hadn't noticed anything. And then when I stopped taking the product, I was like, oh, okay, now I know, and I will never not take your product. Right? We probably should use that as a phrase. I have another guy, Kyle Zabrodowski. I'm close. He's the owner of OsteoStrong, which is a national or global franchise helping women increase bone density strength, or bone density, with some, it's crazy. It's like 4 10-second workouts and you're increasing bone density. So it's pretty amazing. So he's in the health space, and his testimonial kind of wraps up. It's kind of longer, but wraps up with, I will never not take your product. So maybe we just need to kind of
Well, it's like the boiling frog. Like you don't even realize you're feeling better because, like for me, like I said, I could feel that tiredness that came out of nowhere. Again, I think that tiredness was just not psycho, not, this.
I love that.
Yeah.
You were like, is everyone this tired all the time?
Is everyone like not geeked up the second they get out of bed? And so, yeah, I could see definitely that, like where you don't even realize, and then all of a sudden, if you did stop taking it, you're going to be awake, in the middle of the night and so on and so forth. You're going to be back to the racing thoughts and the disfocused, unfocused kind of brain power. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing is, we have a super small percentage of people. So I'm so glad you were taking it in the morning. And by the way, how stunning is that you're taking this in the morning and it's positively impacting sleep at night? Because there's nothing else on the market that does it. I've had one person mention ashwagandha, and then another kind of expert was like, yeah, but ashwagandha you have to take in the morning for focus on energy, and then you have to take it again at night and it'll help you sleep. So that's already kind of a wacky thing. But our product you take in the morning and positively impacts your sleep after the focus and energy during the day. So that's pretty amazing. So I'm glad you were taking in the morning. A super small percentage of people, 2, 3, maybe 4%, if they take it later in the day, they say that'll keep them up. But see how this resonates with you. Well, I think because your mind is so active and it kind of honed in, I think a lot of people might have slower minds and it amps them up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then they've got this amped up mind as they're going into sleep, and they're not used to that. And so they're like, I just shouldn't go to sleep. And I think that's what happens. And if they had allowed themselves to hit the pillow and to try and slow their mind down a little bit, they would go to sleep. Because that was my experience. Now it just feels like normal sleep. It's been so long, right? I don't even really think about it. I do remember in the beginning when I started taking the product regularly, I would have that sense of energy, like high energy, and the kind of enough energy to think, maybe I should just stay up and work some more, right? But if I allowed myself, my head hits the pillow and I go out. Same thing you mentioned, going to the restroom. You wake up to go to the restroom, your mind's active, right? Like I could have woken up and like continued to work or started working or whatever, and then you let your head hit the pillow and you go back to sleep. So
I will say that is totally on point. Usually prior to taking this, like you're saying, you get up at 3, you go to the bathroom, you come back, to bed, and you might as well just get your phone and you just might as well be done. Like that's it. Whereas with this, you do hit the pillow and you do go back to sleep. I'm so interested. Like, do you have any data or like what you've seen of how this affects like the neurotransmitters, the serotonin, the dopamine? Like, how is it changing my brain so much that it's not doing all the crazy shit?
Yeah, I think it goes to the positive impact in the mitochondria. So one, and then remember the mitochondria is actually responsible for the production of pregnenolone, which is the core hormone responsible for the sex hormones, right? So you get your sex hormones out of pregnenolone. And so if you're having a more efficient mitochondria and more efficient hormone production, then everything's back in sync. You can also think about it in terms of this, because remember, in the previous podcast, we talked about, it works in the mitochondria. Your mitochondria produces negative byproducts. Inside of your mitochondria to manage those negative byproducts are glutathione and melatonin. Melatonin, the sleep hormone.
Yeah.
If you're positively impacting that cycle in some way, and we think we call it the BOSS theory, buffering oxidative stress system, then maybe we're freeing up the right amount of melatonin, right? So maybe as you're going to sleep, melatonin is like recruited, and there's a great book by Dr. Matthew Walker called Why We Sleep, and 25 years of at some point a Harvard researcher. He's at another prestigious university now. By the way, the most amazing speaker. There's no utterances, there's no there's it's just magical to listen to him speak. And he's British, right? So he's got a British accent,
right? So he seems even smarter than he is.
Yeah, 100 times smarter than he
is.
And he's off the charts, right? Like we're just in another stratosphere. And so in that book, he talks about the purpose of melatonin is actually the starting gun to tell your body it's time to get ready to sleep. This is just kind of a little aside, which is really interesting. So if you time your melatonin, if you decide melatonin is something you want to play with to kind of help manage sleep, if you time it wrong and you dose it wrong, imagine at 1 o'clock in the morning, you've got this starting gun going off going, hey, it's time to get ready to go to sleep.
Right,
no.
right.
You're supposed to be asleep and you're supposed to stay asleep, right? So you've got to be careful with melatonin. But if we're in that cycle, and maybe we give a lot more room because we believe we're buffering this stress, and maybe glutathione is doing more of the job, and the melatonin, the appropriate amount of melatonin is left to run around and get the body prepared for sleep. And so then you actually sleep well. I would think, and this just dawned on me. If you think about evolution and about us being on the plains of Africa as tribes or wherever we are, you actually want a very active mind until the second you fall asleep, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like predator, whatever, procreation, like everything's got to be on. And then like you need to sleep, you need to be like honed in, dialed in, sleep pretty rapidly, wake up and be back on it. And so that is kind of a thing that is reported from us. And we sleep just comes up time and time again. I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, I just look at it and I'm like, why aren't we I don't know if this is something that could be mixed with other supplements, if people are like reaching out to you and being like, hey, why aren't we putting this in everything to help people, or because of the way it's, stabilized in the oils, like if that's a component of it. I think there's only one supplement out there. What the heck is it called? It's like in a yellow I took it for a while, but it had vitamin D, which is a hormone, like melatonin is a hormone, and it just did not mesh with me. It was giving me like hot flashes and stuff like that. And like this, I will tell you, like I did not have any negative side effects. That's the thing. Like I was taking, what the hell is it called? Pumpkin seed oil. Horrific hot flashes. It was dropping my blood sugar below. Like I was like having blood sugar, like it was dangerously low. I didn't realize it. Like I think that people are taking supplements, they're seeing them on social media, they're seeing they're out in advertising and they're like, oh, I'll try that. It's natural, and not realizing that there are horrific side effects to some of these supplements, like really dangerous. Someone had commented, "Ooh, I want to try pumpkin seed oil." I'm like, well, if you're on any type of medication, especially like metformin or a GLP-1, you are going to put your blood sugar dangerously low. And with this, I did not personally find any negative side effects. There's some side effects that give you racing heart. There's some, that sugar, liver, kidney issues. And with this, I didn't feel my husband, I was telling him like I was sleeping so good. He's like, what are you taking? I'm like, carbon. He's like, what? I'm like, it's naturally, yeah. I'm like, it's naturally occurring in my brain. And I think it's just the way I like looked at it, I'm like, it's filling in all the blanks. I don't know how it's like amping up the stuff that's already inside of me that make me human. And he was just like, got it. Um,
That's awesome.
I know,
Oh, thank you for
but
that explanation.
I know. He's like, okay, you're taking carbon. Cause I mean, like I told you in the first episode, like I have like a whole shelf in a pantry cupboard, like of supplements. Um, and I'm actually going to, I actually had some blood work done. It was right before this. I guess it would be kind of like, yeah, right before I started taking this. I should email you. And I'm having blood work done this week. Um, and in the beginning, even though they found some like crappy stuff like that would none of us want, it still docked my age. I'm 52. I'll be 53 in October. It still clocked my age at 41.6 years. So I'm like, okay, Batty. And so I'm going to have it done again. I'm going to be interested to see. I'll have to report back on the podcast just as an aside what my chronological blood age is. You also sent me, I have the box too, like these little numbers.
Yep.
I haven't gone into them because I haven't really had a 5-day trip. Is that what these are for? Is like little vacation packets or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah, they're certainly great for traveling. We make them for samples when we go to different conferences. It's what I take when I travel. And each one of those little ampules is 5 mils or 1
Okay.
teaspoon of that high quality extra virgin olive oil. So that will leave that peppery flavor at the back of your throat. So yeah, those are just super convenient. And then you
Yeah.
got a taste of the different packaging, right?
Yeah.
And some of this is like, I think you were kind of hinting around the fact that like why aren't more people taking this on a more regular basis? And some of the challenge is that all the benefits that it has. I mean, just let's just start. If I had some 30 seconds in a commercial to tell you that I'm going to give you something in the morning and it's going to positively impact your, like, we'll just start with one small thing. Give it in the morning, positively impact sleep. You're like, that doesn't sound real, right? And then I'm going to say, well, let's take it up a notch. Take it in the morning, focus on energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. Well, that's just not real. And then you start throwing in, we have targeted packaging for deep sleep, focus on energy, exercise recovery, party recovery. Like, that is some of the challenge when people ask me, like, why isn't this out there more? One is just because it's kind of unbelievable that this carbon molecule does so much. And then the other is like, how do you market that in a succinct manner? And then another piece is that there is no intellectual property available for this. So people can't patent it. So bigger companies aren't going to come in. So we just have to like continue to market. We're continuing to pay for research. We're continuing to publish papers. We're doing all the right things. It just is a slow slog to continue to do the right things and get the message out there.
Yeah, I know like with like clothing patents, you have to like change it or it has to be changed by 10%. Is there something that you could mix this with that would make it more like patentable? Like this is how we so then people are like, "Oh, we have a that's when you go on Shark Tank the first question they ask. Like is it
How do you protect?
patent? Right, like why is this different? Why isn't everyone doing this? And then you answer the question and then everyone offers you $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Is there something that would make that available so that we can get it to more people on Good Morning America, yada yada?
Well, I think, love to get on Good Morning America. I think, hopefully that will happen eventually.
It's not
I
that
think,
hard. I just had a friend have her product on there. You can get on there, trust me.
oh, right.
You just have to
Interesting.
be willing to discount it. Like usually they'll have it on like that steals and deals. You have to just be willing to
Heavily discounted.
heavily discounted and you have to be ready for the ability to sell like tons of product because it has to ship within 72 hours, I think.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like that there's a little rigmarole, but if you can go within the scope, you can. If I have the information, I'll send it to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, but please do. I would love that contact. And I can share, like, we were on Dr. Gundry's. I was on Dr. Gundry's podcast back pre-pandemic. And after that, when that aired, I was in the back packaging.
I'm
Like,
sure you were.
it was all hands on deck. So yeah, being prepared is something that would be interesting. So you're asking like, it took me a long time to come out with the targeted packaging, because in my mind, the right thing, right? I am always trying to do the right thing. In my mind is, if I have a different packaging, then it's got to be different, right? And then one day I just woke up and I was like, and there was an experience that kind of led me down this path, but I was like, wait, what am I really afraid of? What I'm really afraid of is somebody comes on and they order some of our deep sleep product and some of our exercise recovery product and some of our party recovery product, and they don't know it's all the same, and then they're disappointed, right? Like, that would be very disappointing. But then I realized our actually customer service team has like 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. That's all tied to shipping. And like, we wouldn't have 1,000 5-star reviews if our shipping sucked, right? Our shipping happens, like, we're actually competitive with Amazon, except for on weekends, because we don't work on weekends. But we literally had somebody order, I think at like 9 p.m. on a Friday, and send us an email at 10 a.m. on Monday and say, like, why isn't my package here? It was
Oh
like,
my
well,
God.
nobody
Kill.
was like, it's not even out yet. Like, we haven't shipped it yet. So, but other than that, like, during the week, we're super fast. People are blown away by it. And that shipping department knows to look for anybody who's ordered multiple of these products and reach out to them and say, hey, remember, they're the same.
Yeah.
And do you want us to adjust it? What do you want to do? And if it even got past that, which is like probably a 1% chance, then they call and they're upset. We're confident. We're doing something, to make sure that they're
Yeah.
happy. And so once I kind of got over that hurdle, then I'm like, okay, because what it allows us to do, especially when I'm, face to face at conferences, I can say, hey, which one of these things is a good focus for you? Would you rather have focus and energy? Would you rather have sleep, exercise, recovery? And then you can start the conversation someplace and then tell the story of the molecule. So it is, now we can add stuff, right? It's oil soluble. So we can add any oil soluble vitamin. You mentioned D, also a hormone, vitamin E. So we can do those things. Just what's the benefit? And, adding a little bit of extra cost, and, you can
Yeah.
patent it, but what's the value there? Because the real value is actually just in the ESS60 molecule in olive oil. Like, that's the value. And by the way, be mindful with MCT. We probably touched on this, that MCT has a lot less of the ESS60 molecule in it. Right?
So which one has less of it?
The coconut MCT has a
Okay.
lot less, and it looks like this. So there's about 0.8 milligrams per milliliter in the olive oil, 0.6 in avocado oil, which we may not have sent you, and then 0.3 in MCT.
Yeah, I think this is, I have 2 olive oils because I took that in the beginning. And then, so the coconut oil has less of it?
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
So
Same
you
price?
might want to double up on that. If you
Okay.
notice any difference, like, you're welcome to play around with that. Just know that it is, if you're like, oh, I'm not sleeping, I'm sleeping approximately 1/2 as well, because there's a little less than half of the ESS60 molecule in each serving of the MCT versus the olive oil.
I mean, the way that I just look at it is like, we talked about this last time, like, your body is made up of carbon and it breaks down, and then this comes in and says, let's build you back up, let's put you all back together from all the crap that you did all day. Like, a lot of people understand the idea of like antioxidants and free radicals and all of those things, and when we eat bad food, when we're out in the world, it breaks us down. That's what causes like illness and cancer and all of these different things. And I just look at it like it's building it back up. Like, when you look at this product, my Vital C, and I like just started calling it my Vital Carbon because people are like, "You're taking vitamin C," and I'm like, "No, it's carbon." Um,
By the
like,
way, we knew that would happen, right? When we first came up with the name, like, and am still really very okay with it, because there is no doubt that my Vital C, right, especially as a health product, is going to be good for you, right? If you confuse it with vitamin C, and then, yeah,
yeah,
I like your idea of my Vital Carbon.
my Vital Carbon, putting myself back together. Um, when you look at this concept of like slowing down aging, um, what is like, are we starting in the brain? Are we starting in the body? Because I look at this as being something that's primarily for the brain. Is that kind of how you see it? And then once the brain is kind of doing well, and the brain, like, the fact that, in the medical community, they separate all the different modalities so much, or psychology, and then dentistry, and then the physical body. I've done so many different podcasts on the compartmentalization of the body. But like, if my brain is telling my lungs to breathe, if my brain is telling my heart to beat, and if my brain is sending out stress signals, like we were talking about, like, that stress and then inflammation, when we have inflammation in the body, unless it's an acute, I just got hit by a baseball bat,
Yeah.
even then the brain is going, Mayday, we have an injury, send inflammation to the kneecap because she just got hit with a baseball bat.
Yep.
Clearly, I'm in a mob movie right now.
I'm assuming it was the ice skating incident.
Right. No. So like, the thing of it is when I'm looking at the brain, it's so integral to everything that the body is going through. It's sending pain receptors, it's sending inflammation. And what's the number one killer of Americans is inflammation. And so I do I do energy work. So I'm very like Eastern medicine, like as a practice, like that's what I do in life. And emotional release, which has to do with, okay, it's a secondary benefit that the brain doesn't understand, but basically, let's say you're in a really crappy job, right? And you hate going to work. We see this with kids going to school, where every day they start waking up with a stomach ache. They don't want to go to work. We see this in the 90s. It was ulcers. Then it was like carpal tunnel. Now it's plantar fasciitis. These illnesses travel in packs, and they all have to do with inflammation. And what the brain does is go, all right, she's never going to quit that job. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start migraines. And society accepts migraines as a reason to not go to work. It makes sense to all of us. And we don't do this. The brain does it because it looks around at society and goes, all right, what's a good one that's going to keep us from going to work, right? And Dr. Candace Pert, she worked for the government, and she in her books, The Mind Body Connection, Molecules of Emotion, she's written many books on this, and how the brain sends inflammation receptors down to a place that's societally acceptable. Again, we don't know we're doing this. We really
Yep.
do have a migraine, okay? We really, really do. I promise.
Yep.
You
And they
really
hurt.
have an ulcer.
Yeah.
You really have plantar fasciitis. We are not negating the pain, but it's the brain that's doing this. It says, look, you have fatigue syndrome, you have this illness, you have that illness. And you kind of have to tell your brain, like, look, I can handle quitting my job, but we don't know. We don't have that excuse in our emotional capacity. So our brain comes up with one. And I just felt like for the past 6 weeks, my brain was not leaning into that physical response system from the emotion. The emotions were not overwhelming because my brain was calm enough to kind of contend with them. I wasn't toxically stressed. I wasn't I wasn't in fight or flight all month. It was like, okay, like I just remember as stressor would come to me, and I would be like, this is going to get handled. It's always gotten handled. I've never died before. I'm still here. Whatever this thing, like I was able to slow the brain down enough, or it was already slowed down. Maybe I wasn't doing it. Maybe it was a vital say. The brain was slowed down enough that it wasn't like, you're gonna die. Everything's gonna end. You know what I mean? And so that like calm mind allowed me to like step more normally forward in life, which then negates the need for my brain to create an illness or an upset stomach or pain in my elbows, a pain in my shoulders, all of those weird things, because I was able to be calm enough to think through it. Now, granted, as you can see, I'm a very aware person, meaning I'm aware of what my body's doing kind of at all times, but that's what I get paid for. And so just, like if you're out there listening and you get like very fight or flight, if you get very overwhelmed, if you're short-tempered with your kids, you're dealing with life right now at this very stressful, shit's up to here already, and then your kid comes in and tells you they need 2 dozen brownies by tomorrow morning's first period class for, whatever that they signed you up for. And you're just at your wit's end. This I have felt, because my life has not changed stress-wise. It has not. This I have felt has allowed my brain calm enough to sort through reality instead of the swirling bullshit that I would create, this whole future nonsense. And even just as I'm sitting here with you, it's been funny because like my husband will bring me his stress and I'm just like, it's always worked out. I just it's fine. Like, stop stressing. And he's like, how can you tell me that? I'm like, because I'm on carbon. I'm on carbon. But it's the truth, which then it's going to lead to a less of these lower back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, all of these different weird pain things, which, by the way, I was just diagnosed, I think it was last week, with Lyme. And I didn't even know that I had this. I tested very, very low amount of rheumatoid arthritis. And they're like, well, do you have any symptoms? I'm like, no, because I had Lyme 13 years ago. And when some of the symptoms of Lyme is foggy brain, can't think of words, like you can do one thing a day. But like, I remember when I had it 13 plus years ago, it was like, today I'm going to the post office. That was it.
Yeah.
And then you drive home and you sit in the parking lot or your driveway and you sleep for 20 minutes before you can get out of the car. Like, Lyme will kick your butt. And the lady, I was just at this infectious disease, fun waiting room, infectious disease, and fun. You're begging to be called back into an office. PS. And she's like, well, I mean, think about it. Who wants to work in that lobby? And she's like, do you have any symptoms? And I'm like, none. She's like, no joint pain? I'm like, no brain fog? I'm like, not really. Again, could be menopause. And so it's just, I don't know if it's you and this product or if it's just, I have no idea, but I'm going to take the antibiotics because she said it can turn into meningitis if it's not treated. So I'm just doing the antibiotics. I don't want it to turn into meningitis or chronic fatigue syndrome. But I will tell you, like, I'm sold. Not that you can tell.
You covered so much interesting stuff. I'd never heard of the concept of migraines being a kind of a physiological manifestation. Like, we certainly believe that. I remember the first time a friend of mine said that about a buddy of mine who was like, a mutual friend has just manifested this sickness so he doesn't have to do XYZ. I was like, and it applied to me in some cases. And it does remind me of this crazy meme, which I find like, you may not find funny. I find funny because it's just so ridiculous, which is, I don't know if you knew this, but if you drink enough, they'll let you go home from work.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. So yeah, this is an interesting concept. I don't know if we touched on migraines. So interesting story about migraines in the last podcast. I am this geeky guy who's in front of you. I have a spreadsheet back to 2014 tracking my migraines because I used to get 4 or 5 migraines per year. And I was trying to figure out like what in the heck was going on because they suck that much, right?
Yeah.
When I started taking this product on a regular basis, which was in 2018, I went 18 months without a single migraine. And so I should have had ostensibly 6 migraines or so.
Yeah.
And then when I got one, it was actually because I went off my product in order to join the sleep study that we did, because we did a sleep study. And that's when I got my first migraine. Now, I'll tell you, I do get 1 or 2 per year now, but they are so different than they used to be. They actually, now there's an aura, there's a little kind of kaleidoscope thing, and it gets into the middle of my vision. So reading is extremely challenging, but not impossible, right? Which is not normal for a migraine, right?
Yeah.
Normally migraines are like, you got to go
Dark
get in
room.
a quiet place. There's no sound. You need it to be cold, under the blankets. and then that'll go away after about 20 minutes. And it used to be the case, like just tapping on my head would hurt.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen anymore. So even though I'm getting 1 or 2 per year, they're significantly decreased in kind of severity and negative impact. And so that's one thing. You mentioned short temper with kids. There's one testimonial that I always remember, and it's related to kind of this emotions and balance and focus, this temper. The lady submits her YouTube video. So we send her some products. She's out of the UK. She submits this video, and she starts it off with, "I'm in the middle of quitting smoking." And I was like, well, this is going to be a horrible testimonial, right? Because if you've ever been around anyone quitting smoking, my parents quit multiple times. It's not pleasant. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing good about the process of quitting smoking. She actually went on to give a good review. And then one particular thing that she said is, I find myself having a longer fuse with my toddler. Right. And,
Hmm.
you're a parent. We have some days the fuse is good size, some days it's bad size. But, that really kind of landed with me. And
Yeah.
again, one of the best things to help you manage your emotions is a good night's sleep. If
Yeah.
you sleep poorly, you actually manage your emotions less well the next day.
Yeah.
You talk about kind of experiencing life stress. I have this one testimonial, which is kind of funny. So I try not to work on weekends. My wife does a good job of encouraging me not to work on weekends, and so usually I do. But one Sunday I was here. This guy knocks on our door. We don't actually have like a point of sale system. We don't have a retail location. But I opened the door. It felt very clandestine. He's like, "Do you have any ESS 60?" I was like, "Yeah, I do. Come on in." And then he gave me his credit card and was like, "I guess I'm going to go place the order on our website because we don't have a cash register." So
Right.
did that. So I remember him. I was walking through past the lobby one day, a couple months later, and Cassandra, who was helping him, shares that he was there for his third order, and we were running some sort of 3-bottle special at the time. So he's ordering 3 bottles, and I'm like, this guy's going to give an amazing testimonial. So let me, check out what's going. Hey, what are you going? And he felt really bad. He was like, Chris, I haven't really noticed anything. And I was like, well, one, don't feel bad. It's another data point for me. 2, why are you ordering 3 bottles? Maybe you're just like focused on the longevity piece. And then he kind of slows down and he's like, he gestures towards his knuckles and goes, does it help with with pain here? And by the way, testimonial, just assume this won't happen to you. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, we've got some, people have shared that. And he goes, well, that's definitely better. And I used to have this click, click, click in my knee, and that's gone. It's like, oh, it's a shame you haven't noticed anything. And then he goes, also, I'm going for my 3rd jog. I hadn't jogged in like 3 years. So I'm going for my 3rd jog. So I'm picking that back
I
up.
feel so
And
bad for him that nothing happened that nothing happened good. That's the
yeah,
worst.
yeah, just sometimes it's so subtle.
But that's the thing, like, but it is, like, it's not causal. You're not finding a lot of times the correlation. It's just all of a sudden, it's just so, like, I can do this, or I can go a little bit
Normal.
farther. Right.
Right. I mean, if he took it, right, and he got a burning sensation in his knuckles, and then he no longer had any pain in his knuckles, like you were like, oh, I took it, the burning, like now it's good. We
Right.
actually had a marketing company once tell us, yeah, it's so subtle. Maybe you should put a laxative in your product so that when people take it, then they know something is happening. And I was like, I understand where you're coming from. No, we're not going to do
But no,
that.
that's not where the direction we're headed less necessarily, right?
So this guy wrapped up it, right? This is directly tied to kind of life stress. He goes, Chris, I do have to share with you, I have less stress at work. It's the same people, it's the same job, it's the same stress. I just feel less stress at work.
Yep.
And so that all ties together. And then I did remember, I don't know if we touched on this. We talked about packaging. We actually have, I mean, it's the same product, but it says menopause support on it because of my wife's experience when she was going through menopause.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. So
Yeah.
anything that can help with that is definite. You definitely need to read Candace Pert's books, because I think that you will see the science from her perspective which she did this. I mean, she's actually passed away now, I think
Mm.
4 or 5 years. But again, she worked for the US government, and it had to do with like T cell receptors and the way that these inflammation receptors followed on these T cells. And she was able to track how the brain was doing this as a favor to help emotions, especially in our country where emotions and, we're starting to talk about mental health. But if you're like, hey, I'm having a mental health issue, like even in our town here where I live, the kids have mental health days where they're allowed to take off of school for a
Mm.
mental health day. They don't have to have a reason. They don't have to be sick. They don't have to go to the doctor. It's very, very like high stress high school. And, that there's still people that their Gen X is like, what kind of bullshit is a mental health day? It's like, you could use one. And
I
so
would suggest you take one right now.
right now. And so like societally, we're still not in a place where we like, hey, my mom passed away, I'm having a stressor and I need some time off. They're like, as long as you're physically can get here, you need to get here. And so our brain does look for that. I think that would be huge in understanding how as we change our brain, our heart works better, our lungs work better, our stress works better. It tells our skin what to do, like all the things that are going on inside. So question, because as I go out, oh, you also sent me, I'm sure you did this. I'm sure you sent this directly from
Yeah,
you.
yeah. No,
Uh,
I packaged it myself. I thought I made that clear.
you packaged it yourself. Love, Chris. You also sent me this really cool daytime and nighttime creams.
Yep,
So this is the daytime. You pump the purple. I'll just show it for people that are watching. You Let's see here. You pump the purple on.
yep. That's the
Let's see
that's
here.
the peptide UTH29, Youth 29.
Youth, Utes. It's for the Utes of America, or the
Exactly.
people that want to be the Utes of America. And then you put the ESS 60. So I have a whole bottle of ESS 60 here. I'm like a chemist. And then you just take that and put that with the purple stuff, and then mix it together. And then that's for your daytime. I will tell you, this goes under makeup, concealer. I'm going to put it on my hands now just so I don't mess myself up. Which, by the way, when you're done putting it on your face, put it on your hands. Did you ever see there was a gal who was using some sort of eye cream? And when she would done putting on her eye cream, she would use her right hand and then she'd wipe the top of her left hand with that right hand. And she went to the doctor and she's like, I don't know what's going on. My left hand looks better than my right hand. And the doctor's like, where do you wipe your face cream when you're done with it? She's like, oh, got it. So there's that. So it smells amazing. It smells fresh. It doesn't smell like flowers. It's even though you're putting like that oil in there, it's not oily. It's like the perfect amount. Now, the night cream, the night oil, whatever you want to call it, the smell of it is the most heavenly smell I have ever smelled in my entire life. Why every product on the planet does not smell like this. Again, this is not an endorsement. I'm telling you, I just tried it. He's not giving me one red cent. Everything on the planet should smell like your night oil.
We should go outside and we should smell the night serum.
It is absolute heaven. And I love you just like push this down right here and then just enough. And you don't need a lot. So don't push it all the way down. I'm telling you, unless you want to then get your neck and stuff like that, which I heavily advise the neck. Because as we age, the neck goes and we always forget about the neck. But just push it down a little bit, let a little bit of the oil, use it on your face. If you need some for your neck, push it down again. Don't go crazy because then you're going to end up with too much of it. You don't need a lot of this. I will tell you, in the beginning, just to be honest, my face did break out a little bit, but I think it was like detoxing the ick. It was getting all the ick out. And then after I started using it more and more consistently, the ick stopped coming out. So just be aware, like don't freak out that, or use it certain areas, like see how it goes on your forehead and then do that for a couple of days and see if it works itself out. Because again, this isn't I don't know, it's not topical. I don't know how else to describe it. It's not like I'm gonna put I always tell people that are like, "Oh, I have to lotion myself every single day." I'm like, "No, you just need to, um, get all the dead skin off. Like, your body's not lotion deficient." Like, and that's like what
Yeah.
but with this, I didn't feel like I was lotioning. I felt like I was hydrating. I felt like I was feeding. I felt like I was detoxing all at the same time. I don't know what the hell I put on my face, so maybe you can explain it better than your
Uh,
friendly neighborhood podcaster.
I want to start with this because this story is kind of funny. There's a Dr. Yurth who's the Boulder Longevity Institute, amazing, cutting edge scientist, functional medicine practitioner, like just amazing. Kind of stepped away from an orthopedic surgery practice and like just decided to do functional medicine because like the outcomes are healthier, right?
Yeah.
And she put me in contact with her team. So I had this Zoom meeting and they were around a conference table. So I didn't even have the advantage of like everybody had the picture and the name, right? And they came, we had a booth at A4M in Las Vegas. So A4M Longevity Fest. And they all came up and they may have been like standing in the same position as they were in the conference table,
Right.
but they all came up and like, hi, of course I remember all of you and your pets' names. And the way I describe it is like, hey, that product that might extend my life, I need get that out of the way. And that thing that might help sleep and everything else in my life, get that out of the way. I'm here for this. I'm here for the reduo set. It's like, I don't care about longevity or health. I actually just
I
want
just
your
want to look
reduo.
better. Right.
So we get and there were two of them of the, I don't know, maybe 5 people that were in that group. And so we get this amazing testimonial. So the story behind the night serum, by the way, my wife will put that on makeup also. So that one
Oh,
is
wow.
something, so she likes it. You can put it under, you can put it on, it leaves a little nice little shine,
Mhm.
which is a look, right? Um, we were already getting amazing testimonials about skin and hair from people taking the oil product, consuming it, right? And I think that goes back to, in reality, hair and nails are aesthetics. And if you're fighting something, if you're dealing with something, if you're dealing with whatever type of inflammation or whatever it is, your body's like, yeah, we don't need to look that good. We need to survive. Like,
You
it
need
would
to
be good
survive. Yeah.
tomorrow. We don't need a mate right now. And I think we're helping to address some things, right? We're supporting the mitochondria so the body can actually take care of the things that it's supposed to take care of. And then you get, some skin and hair and nail improvements. And then one of our partners, and I'm going to share this because this is funny. I had a conversation. She's an influencer and she's one of our resellers. Her name's Sarah. And she said in our first phone call, Chris, I have to share with you. Like, I have a skin and serum and lotion addiction. I actually have a credit card my husband doesn't know about. So I can buy skin lotions and serums. And your stuff, the oral product, is the best thing I've ever put on my face. Right. Yes, from an addict.
Stop.
And then we came out with this, and that was driven by one of our business partners would just kind of take the bottle, swig out of the bottle, take whatever spilled on the side and wipe it on. And she's like, this is really amazing. We should make a skin care product. And again, if you go back and listen to the previous podcast, I didn't want to be in the supplement industry. This is not, I never thought I would end up here. And I was like, yeah, skin serum. That sounds amazing. And so we
And
did
then your
it,
wife
right?
was like, do it. Do
Yeah,
it, damn
yeah.
it.
Yes. And so we made this, and literally as we're launching this and getting such amazing testimonials about the night serum, my director of research came to me and said, hey, I found this peptide. It's got 30 years of skin and hair improvements, peer-reviewed published research. You should go check it out. So I go check it out. I'm like, okay, this is really powerful. How do we combine it with our product? So this peptide, again, we call it UTH29, Youth 29,
Mhm.
is water soluble, and our molecule is oil soluble. Now we can shove these things
Mhm.
together with an emulsifier. I don't like how emulsifier sounds. If you Google it, there's no health benefits. Like,
Yeah.
emulsifier have detractions. So we kept it separate where you're
Yeah.
activating right there in your hand.
And then you could kind of like figure out like, little less oily, a little more oily. Like I need more oil. Like you can play with it and see what makes sense to you instead of just hoping that it's worked itself out inside of the original packaging.
Yeah, yeah. No, it has that flexibility. I'll tell you though, you normally, and we have enough volume that we would have probably gotten, hey, I just want to share like how I use it. You know, people will share that. We haven't got anybody who said, you know, we recommend 2 drops per squirt. So 1 squirt of the
Okay.
UTH 29 lotion, 2 drops of the ESS
Hmm.
60 activator, kind of
And
activated
you
right on your
don't
palm.
need very much
Yeah, you
at
don't.
all.
Yeah,
Like
no.
it's not a thing where you're gonna be like running out of this stuff at all. Like it does what it needs to do with 100% with not very much necessary at all.
It goes a long way for
Yeah.
sure. But we haven't gotten any feedback of anyone. Yeah, you know what? I doubled up on the, you know, my skin's drier, so I added, you know, more of the oil
Yeah.
or the reverse. So it seems to be about the right combination. And there's a lot of similarities between the night serum and that ESS60 activator. I mean, the core oil, the core component is a chia seed oil, so that's pretty
Okay.
unique in our night serum. But yeah, even that, you know, it absorbs really readily.
It
And so
does.
you're not this slimy sheen the rest of the day. It lasts, you know,
Yeah.
5 minutes or less. So
Yeah, it
it's
mixes
yeah,
very well with, like, if your makeup when you put it on, it doesn't, like, get weird or anything like that, but I am so appreciative of you coming back and talking with me and turning me on to this. Thank God I do podcasts because otherwise I'd be, like, buying 3,000 products and supplements for the rest of my life and having hot flashes and low blood sugar and all this other shit because I'm just trying the latest, greatest product, when all I just need to do is ingest more of what I've already made up of, which is carbon.
yeah.
It just makes too much sense. So yeah, I thank you so, so very much for, putting this together and all the hard work that you and your team are doing over there. And I I'm going to get on my monthly as soon as I run out of this. Based on your recommendation, I am going to go with the olive oil just because why would I take more of the coconut? And
Yep.
if my daughter comes over, she doesn't like to taste the taste of nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. How does she drink water? Like does I don't know
I
if she
what is
by the way,
happening?
I I don't enjoy water, right? So it's a situation where I just tend to not to drink it, and then if I haven't had a drink in a while, I'll take a bottle of water and I'll put it to my lips, and then I'll finish the whole thing because my
Right. That's
body's
how
like,
my
"Oh,
dad
we
does
need
it
all
too.
this because you have not been drinking." So
Yep.
I kind of have some empathy with your daughter. I don't like. I always feel like the MCT has kind of a buttery flavor, like in my mind, but
Yeah,
that's
maybe. I don't know. She's 27, whatever. Well, you can't talk her into anything, but thank you so very much. It's myvitalc.com. Make sure I got that right. And you're
yep.
all over social media, so you can go check out all that and get on the shipment plan. I'm begging everyone that's listening to this that's even remotely interested, at least do 2 months. I felt it within the first 3 days. I'm a weirdo. I'm super
Mm.
sensitive to what my body's doing. I'm super aware of what my body's doing, but I'm begging you do 2 months, invest. I think it would be like less than $100 for 2, but I don't even know at this point for 2 months if you're on the auto ship and you can cancel at any time. Like it's not like it's this whole thing. But you're going to save money on supplements. And as I used to say when I sold cars, it's a pizza night. This is a pizza night. Just get rid of one
Mm.
pizza night a month and you can afford to get the supplement because you deserve it. You're going to feel better. You're going to be less short tempered with the world. You're going to be less short tempered with yourself. You're going to be less scattered, less overwhelmed, less fight or flight, less frustrated. You're going to sleep better. You're going to wake up more refreshed, all in one bottle. All in one bottle. It's mind blowing. But thank you again so much for making your product and doing all the work.
Well, let me share a couple things because we have a link for your audience, right? So it's
Okay.
myvitalc.com/Meredyth, Meredyth with a Y. There is a $15 off coupon code
Oh,
when
cool.
they go there, so they can find that coupon code. Um, it is about $100 a month, right?
Oh, is it
So
okay?
yeah, so that's right where it is. You remember, try the olive oil because that's where all the research is, or almost all the research, and also because that's the highest concentration of the molecule. If you go on subscription, there's a 20% discount for being on subscription. So even if you're just going to try it a couple of times, go on subscription. Again, our customer service team has 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. And so they're not trained to talk you out of canceling your subscription. They're trained to help you, and they do an amazing job there. I do have a freebie. There's 18 biohacking tips. You just need to give us your email so you can get that right on that page. And then real quick, my book that kind of tells the story is Live Longer and Better. And I've got a charity piece of it that I'm really proud of. So you can buy the book on Amazon for $19.95. Go to the website, again, myvitalc.com/Meredyth, and grab that $15 coupon code. It's not on that page, but you can go in the menu structure, find the book, and it's $19.95 from our website. And for $10 extra, I'll autograph it. The full $10 goes to Operation Underground Railroad. Again, you may remember the movie, The Sound of Freedom, an amazing movie about a horrible topic, which is child sex trafficking, which obviously should be off of our planet. Like the scent of my product should be everywhere, just like that should not be anywhere. And so 100% of the signature fee actually goes towards Operation Underground Railroad, and super proud of that. And Meredyth, thank you so much for having me back, and such glowing results. That's absolutely amazing. Really appreciate you.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much. All right. So everybody, myvitalc, the letter C.com/Meredyth, Meredyth. I'll have all of this in the show notes, and check out the book, check out the product. That's what it was. It was $100 with 20% off for the auto ship. Yep. Close enough. You guys can handle this. All right, guys. I'll see you here next week. Thanks so much. I appreciate it, Chris.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. If you would like to connect on a more personal level, head over to meredythwillits.com or on Instagram @Meredyth for behind-the-scene footage and outtakes. Please subscribe and come back each week for more Meredyth with a Y. Thanks again for listening. Cheers.